Hey guys, Brendan here for R&B Reviews, continuing my October horror film reviews. Today I'm talking about Lucio Fulci's The Beyond. Let me jump right into the plot. The Beyond is about a woman named Liza who inherits a hotel that's built on top of one of the 7 gateways of hell. And as she begins to have the hotel renovated so it can be reopened for business, strange things start to happen. One of the renovators is injured falling from a scaffolding. A plumber is mysteriously murdered. Just some strange stuff begins to happen around the hotel. Liza begins to notice it right off the bat. And then she comes across a woman named Emily, who has completely white eyes, really creepy looking. Emily, who warns her of, you know, what is beneath the hotel, what the gateway is about. And Emily sort of acts as a go-between between both, you know, the supernatural world and the real world, trying to warn Liza. Liza's friend John, who she also tells all of this about everything that's happening at the hotel, and you know, the film just rushes to a, you know, it goes to a climax of completely apocalyptic proportions, and it's a fantastic film. I've tried taping this review many times. I just can't get the words out of my mouth. What's great about The Beyond is it's, besides the gore, I'll get to the gore in a minute for gore hounds out there, but Fulci really has you sort of putting the plot together yourself, almost. He gives you the pieces, but it's sort of a mystery, kind of how it is to the character of Liza, what exactly is going on. It's not always 100% clear. Although this is really sort of the best story-driven film Fulci's made, in my opinion at least. Its supernatural aspects are fantastically shot, and you're never quite sure when the world of the supernatural is bleeding into reality, and vice versa. And it creates this atmosphere of the film that's just it's a little unnerving and uncomfortable. And let me jump on the gore. The gore in this movie is flat out awesome. It has everything you want in this movie. Now the effects a little dated by today's standards, but just take this movie in the context of the time it came out. I believe it came out in 1980. Let me check for a second. Well, I believe it came out in 1980. A lot of horror films then were just flat out derivative of other stuff that had come out before it. I mean, the slasher movies were in high gear in America at this point. In Italy, it was just sort of imitations of, you know, like Dawn of the Dead and The Exorcist. And Fulci, really, his films were flat out, you know, they were always original and, you know, creative, even if you liked him or not. I mean, the thing about Fulci was he went big every time he made a film, is he just tried to put everything in there and be as far out as possible, and really he had his own kind of signature style. And like I said, this movie has it all. I mean, there's throats being ripped out by dogs, there's flesh-eating spiders. That scene I have to skip over every time I watch it. That just freaks me out. And, eye gouging, plenty of eye gouging, crucifixions, people being, you know, plenty of scenes involving sulfuric acid. There's one of the greatest, I want to say, movie headshots in a movie of a zombie being shot in the head. It's just fantastic. Fans of the movie know what I'm talking about. And the acting is it's good with this movie. It doesn't take you out of it. But really, the chief thing with this movie that comes above the gore, comes above the acting, comes with the characters, the story, all that stuff, is the visuals, just how this film was shot. It's got a very supernatural, metaphysical quality to it, and it just adds to the atmosphere of the film. And you know, the climax of the movie is just brilliant. It looks fantastic. It looks like it should be a painting. It's, well, as a matter of fact, never mind. I won't spoil it for you, but it's just great. I mean, the movie, there's quite a few scenes, quite a few visuals in this movie that stick in your mind afterwards, and that's just a compliment to the film. I mean, there's really some strong visual scenes in this movie. Fulci knew where to put a camera when he was making a movie, and you know, that's the greatest thing for a movie right there. Is, you know, if you get done watching a movie and you're like, well, I remember a scene with a guy with a knife and a guy with a gun and something else. This movie, it sticks with you. I mean, they just He knew how to get the viewers into it. Fulci also directed the Italian sequel to Dawn of the Dead, Zombie 2. This is the first film I'd seen by Fulci that really got me wanting to see The Beyond. And it was just released last year around this time by Grindhouse Releasing on this DVD. It's got plenty of extras, rare interviews with Fulci. Not as many extras as you would have wanted, but and it also comes with a poster I have right here for The Beyond. It also has a full filmography of Fulci's career in the back of the DVD. Visually, this film is grade A. If you like movies that... Now, it's a flat-out it's an exploitation movie. That's for sure. This is an exploitation movie. But it's an exploitation movie with a little more to it. I mean, if you're someone who wants to, look at a movie and see more in it, this is one of those movies that if you watch again and again, I think you're going to get different points out of it. I mean, I love movies that are up for interpretation. This one is definitely a movie that you can interpret it many different ways, especially the ending of the film. I mean, Italian films, I've read many times that are just weak for their endings. Frankly, maybe with Argento movies that have weak endings, but Fulci knew how to end his films, so did Sergio Leone. Just grade A stuff. I mean, a lot of people will either love or hate this movie, and I can't say you'll go either way, but if you haven't seen The Beyond, I highly recommend it. If you're not familiar with Italian horror movies, it's a good place to get your feet wet. Also, I recommend Dario Argento's movies. I'll be doing a Dario Argento review later this week, or right after I do this one. But The Beyond is just, it's a movie that, it's a little exploitation movie, but it's Fulci's best written film. It's his best executed movie. Critically and by the fans, it's got a lot more praise than the rest of his work. And if you like gore and nasty death scenes and just flat out, I mean, this movie's gonna surprise you. Check it out. It's really enjoyable. It's not one of those movies that gives you all the answers either. Like I said, there's a lot of interpretation up there, but go ahead, check out The Beyond, and I'm Brendan for this edition of R&B Reviews. Thanks for watching.